Good day, I am Anna Jane Casimero and today we will be talking about some of the successful entrepreneurs in the Philippines. You've certainly heard of several successful entrepreneurs and their own stories, of how they started from having small businesses and eventually get and built their own empires. These Filipino entrepreneurs do not enjoy their achievements in just the blink of an eye. They all have different difficulties and experiences to share. So in this video, in this discussion, we'll be talking four particular entrepreneurs, namely Henry C., Tony Tan CAKTIONG, third is SOCORRO RAMOS, and lastly is EDGAR Sia. So the first entrepreneur that we will be discussing is Henry C. Henry Tan Chi Sieng C. Sr. was a Filipino business magnate, investor, and a philanthropist known for his involvement in the Philippines retail industry. Born in Fujian, he moved with his family to the Philippines at the age of 12. He is classified as one of the richest tycoons in the Philippines. But not all people know what happened before all these achievements came into his life. His story was a rags to riches kind of a tale. He was not born with a silver spoon in the mouth, and wanting to escape poverty, he followed his father to the Philippines. Determined to become successful, he worked hard day and night to provide for his needs. He started out with a small sari-sari store that helped them in their day-to-day life. He and his father lived in a small space until the fruits of their labor. However, when the Philippine economy collapsed in the World War II, their store burned down that forced his father to go back to China. But Henry stayed in the Philippines and built his own shoe business in Marikina. But he did not have an overnight success. He enrolled himself to school and was able to graduate college with a degree in commerce from Far Eastern University. He also changed legal names, sold rejected and overrun shoes, plus many other setbacks that he had to face early in life. He did not give up and pushed through, maybe because he knew that something big, which is what we has now, is about to come. After a series of failures in his business, Henry stood back and persevered to attain his goal. He established a small shoe store in Quiapo, Manila in 1958 named Shoe Mart that eventually marked the establishment of SM Prime Holdings. Now with three of the most valuable companies in the Philippines, SM Investments Corporation and SM Prime Holdings Incorporated, valued at over 1 trillion pesos each, and BDO Unibank, valued at around 635 million Philippine piso, he has become the richest man in the country for 11 consecutive years since 2005 and ranked 52nd in the Forbes World Billionaires list of 2018. So ever since high school, I already heard about Henry C. And all the teachers were always start with the question, kahiba mo nga nung walay Mercury Drugstore ang SM? Ingon Debbie, wa ma'am. So mo to na-memorize na lang nako ang story ni Henry C. No? So mao tong walay Mercury Drugstore ang SM. Kaysa una katong nag-start pa lang si Henry, katong namaligya siyang mga overruns nga shoes, iyang gihangyo na magtambay siya sa atubangan sa Mercury Drugstore. Unya, wala man nisugot ang katong Mercury Drugstore na adto siya maninda sa atubangan. Mauto, eventually, na successful si Henry C. Usa na siya sa pinakadato. Wala siya kalimot sa story katong wala siya gipatinda sa atubangan sa Mercury Drugstore. Mautong dinasad siya ganahan na ay Mercury Drugstore sa SM. So, yun. So, the next entrepreneur that we will be talking about is Tony Tan CAKTIONG. So, he is a Filipino billionaire businessman and the founder and chairman of the Jollibee Foods Corporation and the co-chairman of Double Dragon Properties. So he is another rags to riches story, from owning a small ice cream franchise to heading some of the Philippines' most famous food chains, namely the Jollibee. So he was from a poor family in China who migrated to the Philippines in hope that they may have a better life. So his family helped each other out, establishing a restaurant business in Davao, which enabled young Tony to study civil engineering in the University of Santo Tomas. When he was 22, CAKTIONG decided to shell out 350,000 pesos in an ice cream parlor franchise. He opened Cubao Ice Cream House and Quiapo Ice Cream House. As their business becomes more and more successful, they started to hire more people to help them manage. 2 years later, he decided to serve hamburgers, fried chicken, and spaghetti as people began to tell him that they don't want to eat ice cream all the time. It was then that they decided to rebrand and change their name to Jollibee, as it represents them as a company and the people that they cater to, hardworking and happy. So as years go by, the Jollibee group grew bigger. CAKTIONG partnered up and established a couple of other food chains including Chowking, Red Ribbon, Greenwich, and Delivrance. And aside from bringing Jollibee, Chowking, and Red Ribbon to other countries, they also established new food chains in China and Taiwan, which suit the taste of the people there. So as of 2016, Tony Tan CAKTIONG ranked 6th in the Forbes Philippines 50th richest. He was also rewarded the Entrepreneur of the Year and the Earnest and Young Entrepreneur of the Year in 2004. So the next entrepreneur is Mrs. Socorro Ramos. She is known as Nanay Kuring and is the founder of National Bookstore, the largest bookstore chain in the Philippines. She is a 90-year-old entrepreneur who was born in September 23, 1923, at the rural community of Santa Cruz, Laguna. Growing up in a big extended family, Socorro saw how her parents and grandparents struggled through life. Despite their economic status, Socorro managed to finish at Arellano High School, and after graduating, she immediately found a job. She ended up as a sales girl in the Goodwill bookstore owned by the Ramos family, which is the family of her husband-to-be. That was the beginning of change, little by little, success of the family. Since she got in, her siblings also applied for some work in the companies owned by the Ramoses. And years after that, Socorro's brother Manuel married one of the Ramos children. Since the bookstore was doing fine, many branches opened up. And in 1940, the Ramos needed someone to look after and manage the branch along Escolta Street. Jose Ramos decided to run, and together with Socorro. Their love story was a forbidden kind. Her parents did not agree to the relationship. But believing that true love knocks only once, Socorro risked everything just to be with Jose. The hated only relieved after she gave birth. The personal hardships they have undergone has also shaped them to become the best entrepreneurs they can be. The branch that they used to manage together was named National Bookstore because it was located at the ground floor of Pansiteria Nacional. And today, the National Bookstore is considered as the largest chain of bookstores in the country. They have ventured into several businesses already, such as a convenience-type store named NBS Book Express, publishing companies named Cacho Hermanos Printing Press, and many more. So at the age of 92, Socorro only acts as a general manager of the National Bookstore. Being an entrepreneur is more of passion and dedication rather than capital. What matters is how much you want to do better and to what extent you are willing to work hard to achieve that. Stumbling down 3 times does not matter, but getting up hundreds of times does. And the last entrepreneur that we will be talking about is EDGAR Sia. So, EDGAR Injap Haruda Sia II is a Filipino businessman. He is the chairman of the Double Dragon Properties and the founder of the Mang Inasal fast food restaurant chain. In 2011, Sia became the youngest billionaire in the Philippines at the age of 34 after selling his 70% stake in Mang Inasal to Jollibee. So EDGAR Sia was born in Iloilo City in 1977 and grew up in Rojas City, Capiz Province. He is the eldest of 3 siblings. Despite Injap being a true-blue provincial guy and unfamiliar with the complexities of the big business environment of the Philippine capital, he made sure he is able to learn and adapt fast. In 2011, Sia became the youngest billionaire in the Philippines at the age of 34 after selling his 70% stake in Mang Inasal to Jollibee Foods Corporation. He had his elementary, high school, and college education in all the province. He originally planned to become an architect but then dropped out of college to focus more on his business, but he strongly believed that his provincial background, having the grassroots knowledge that he learned on the ground, can become his advantage. Sia co-founded the barbecue chain Mang Inasal in Iloilo City in 2003. In 7 years, Mang Inasal grew to 338 branches nationwide before being acquired by Jollibee in 2010. So in 2009, Sia founded Injaplan Corporation, developer of city mall chains of malls. In 2014, Double Dragon Properties became a public company. He has also listed his own grocer Merrimart Consumer Corp this 2020 in the Philippine Stock Exchange. And at the age of 26 years, in 2003, he started from scratch the fast food chain Mang Inasal and grew it from a humble branch in Iloilo City to 338 branches nationwide. As a result of his careful planning, clear visions, thorough business design, and passionate execution, Mang Inasal today continues to grow. Mang Inasal remains to be one of the largest and most loved fast food chains in the country with over 450 stores nationwide and generates over 12 billion pesos in system-wide sales revenue and also consistently showing double-digit same-store sales growth year on year. And that ends the discussion for today. about Henry C., Tony Tan CAKTIONG, Socorro Ramos, and EDGAR. Thank you.